So after the ending of Brynhildr, I had to go online and look up exactly what the fuck happened at that ending. For instance, why was Hatsuna and Kazumi alive? That is what I had to look up after I finished this final episode, because we have that ending scene end off with Hatsuna supposedly alive and Kazumi alive. Now, I was already having some theories behind it when I first saw that scene, but I went online just to make sure and confirm if this was an anime original ending, or if this was following the manga and they rushed that ending. They rushed the ending. Okay, so we find out, after doing a little bit of looking up online, I find out that the reason why Hatsuna's alive, because she could still repair herself, she came back, okay. I mean, that was obvious. We saw something coming out of her last week in the last episode, so I'm guessing she regenerated herself. And at the same token, she came over there where Kazumi was cut in half, and she did the same thing she did to Murakami and brought her back. So I understand that. But why couldn't they fit that into this episode? I mean, they wasted precious time, like a minute and a half, with that freaking opening song. They could have easily placed that scene to heal Kazumi in that time. Okay? I'm just gonna be honest here. I mean, that is upsetting. The way they did that ending, it just pretty much says that you need to go read the manga. And that is one thing I hate. That is a failure of an anime. That's the big thing I want to say. When an anime forces you to read the manga because the anime is concluded. This is what I take about read the manga ending. For instance, you have like the anime series complete. There's not going to be a season 2. There's not going to be a movie or an OVA. The series is complete. The anime is complete. That is a read the manga ending, when you have to go read the manga to find out what the fuck really happened. And that upsets me. It really does. Now, I'm not going to say that I'm not going to recommend this series. I love this series. I had a lot of enjoyment with it. The only problems I see in this episode is that ending. Really, that's the only thing I see wrong. Besides a couple of different pacing issues in the episode, that's all I see wrong. Which I'm okay with. It's pretty much Elven Lied all over again, how the ending just got completely rushed at the end, and we should probably have expected something like that. But the main disappointment, honestly, the biggest disappointment, is that Kuroha, pretty much, she gets her memories back, and then all of a sudden, she loses them all again, and then nothing is really settled at the end of this episode. And so it forces you probably to go online and probably read what the fuck really happened. Now, I don't know exactly what went on with Kuroha. I don't know exactly why she lost her memories. I have a couple theories on that. But the main thing is nothing technically got settled at the end of this episode, if we look at it at a critical standpoint. I mean, Kuroha still has that harness on the back of her neck, and so, I mean, she still has a possibility of turning into one of those monsters, those dress seals, and dying, and all the other witches do. And so, technically, that problem has not been settled. We do get to see some glimpses at the end with the credits playing, which I tell you is forced. It's rushed, and we really don't know exactly what is truthfully going on there. We know that the professor makes a scientific breakthrough. I'm guessing he made the drug to where the witches can stay alive since they lasted that long in the future, and at the same time it seems like they're doing scientific experiments with the Drezils and the aliens. Okay, but the main question is, on the final scene, we still see that harness on the back of Kuroha, so she technically is still infected with that alien inside of her, so she will die soon. And then we were told, like last episode, if I'm correct, that Drezil will hatch in about a year or two, so you don't have much time to be fucking around. So, I mean, what exactly are they gonna do? There was no explanation or conclusion on top of that. The only conclusion we had was that the witches are safe now, pretty much from having to take a drug. They have their drugs or pills constantly now, so they don't have to worry about going hunting down a scientific research factory and invading it. They don't have to worry about Valkyria. They don't have to worry about none of the professors really hunting down Murakami, Kuroha, or Kana. Now, Kana, there's a big thing about this episode that bugs me, okay? If I wasn't explained a couple episodes back, if someone didn't explain in the comments that arc they skipped, I wouldn't have a theory I have right now about Kana. And also, earlier on in the series, I think around episode 3, when Kazumi was first introduced, Kazumi told Kana that pretty much most likely she can walk. We found out about that. There was dialogue back like that, I think episode 3 or 4. But the thing is, okay, the entire bit with Kana just getting up and walking, it looks like a fucking ass pull. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, if they didn't set it up so early on in the series, I would say it was an ass pull, because, I mean, last episode we find out about that new button that most likely can make witches have new abilities, and so Kana does that, okay? We didn't know other witches could really have other abilities if they hit it too. We only thought Kuroha could. But the thing is, okay, they did not do proper setup and pacing for that scene, honestly. I mean, most likely that arc they skipped earlier on a couple episodes back would have explained the reason why Kana never did that until this very moment. And so I'm upset with that. I really am. That's one of the biggest flaws with this entire series, is that they skipped an important arc, I'm guessing a lot of people's told me, and also the way they've done this ending. Now, besides the problems, I have enjoyed the series. You've all seen me express my opinions about it. I made theories. I love the series. I enjoy the feels of it, even though it has its problems with censors. I understand censors are there because the studios have to place them there because of laws and regulation. It's technically not the studio's fault. It's just the laws, okay? It's like, how we can't have, children going out and buying cigarettes or something. That's exactly laws Japan has on anime. And so, if we really want to see uncensored goodness, we just have to buy the BDs or the DVDs and see the uncensored version ourselves. But that is the thing, okay? The thing is that this series is good. I can recommend it still. I really can. I enjoy the music, and there's a couple of things that really has confused me for the course of this entire series. Like, why would they change the opening song in, like, the last 4 episodes of the series, or the last 3 episodes? I mean, it doesn't make a lick of sense. I mean, I understand a halfway point of the episode, like episode 5 or 6 changing your opening, but that's still fucking stupid if you're only gonna have, like, 12 episodes. And so, it's really bad that they would change their opening song at the ending part of this series, because a lot of people, myself included, probably enjoyed the original OP song better than this newest one. It's my personal preference of music. I'm not stomping on anyone's preference of music. I am not. I'm just saying, in my opinion, I do not like the new opening song. It looks cool animation-wise from a standpoint of animation. I don't like the opening. I don't. I don't like the opening of the latest, opening we get. Now, music was good. Animation for the course of the entire series has been rather enjoyable. There has been some bad scenes, but nothing too bad that really just destroys the episode. And overall, the characters are likable. There's a couple of things, though, with the characters I do not like. For one thing, Kuroha. She is the main female character of this series, and she has less development than Kazumi, one of these side characters. And, when I was coming in this episode, before I saw the ending, I was going to be just so devastated by Kazumi's death. I was just going to be like, what the fuck? Why? Why would you do that? I was going to not, downgrade this anime for her death. I wasn't. I was just going to be upset and vent my frustration because such a character I liked died. Now, I'm just going to say, the way they did Kuroha, she was a less important character than I think other characters like Kana or Kazumi. Because, main spotlights of this entire series was Kazumi, Kana, and we have Murakami. Those were the 3 main spotlights. If you look at it, Kana pretty much did majority of the detail work, and so did Kazumi. You had Kotori really save out key situations. I think Kuroha lost her importance earlier in the series, around episode 4, when she almost died. And that's upsetting, it really is. That's sad when a side character can overdevelop over the main characters. That's exactly what we have seen for the course of this. A lot of people have also told me that Kazumi was supposed to be more unlikable through the course of this series. That's a lot of people have told me, and I don't understand exactly why, but still, I like Kazumi as a character, and the way she was going down and died this episode, I was like, shit, God, she's gonna die. And she wanted to tell him how she felt, and then all of a sudden we find out she's alive at the end, which kind of bugs me a little bit. It really does. It bugs me a little bit, because you all know how I feel about characters that should technically be dead when they die. I understand that, sometimes characters need to be stuck around, they need to stay alive, but when you do a death scene like that, it doesn't sit right with me. It really doesn't, especially when you do it like that, and you rush it up into the very ending of the episode to where they show like everything is fine. The only true death we had in the entire crew was Kotori. Kotori, I feel like, she got shafted, okay? She was a very innocent girl, probably the most innocent girl out of all the bunch, and she just wanted to have a friend, but she gets treated like that and dies. That's fucked up. It really is. Now, this entire episode had a lot of conveniences. That's what I want to say right now. For instance, it's very convenient that Kotori was still technically melting at the time Murakami found her, because usually when we see someone get injected, it takes only about 30 seconds for them to die, like we saw last episode. But for somehow, we have freaking Kotori being able to have a full-out conversation with Murakami for like 5 minutes before she melts away, which is kind of ridiculous. Another convenience we have is that other organization coming in out of nowhere and just saving Murakami and Kuroha and getting to save Kana. Just pretty much that group, that organization comes out of nowhere. And that's actually something I want to get into real quick. that organization came out of nowhere in this series. I mean, seriously, it came out of nowhere, and it upsets me, because there could have been a lot more development for that, and it just came out of nowhere. It doesn't really sit right in the story. It felt like an ass pull by the writers, which most likely I can probably see that the manga did a better job of displaying that, but it feels like an ass pull in the anime-only watcher's eyes, because it just pops out of nowhere. It does. You cannot tell me that organization's been standing around since episode 1. You probably wouldn't have known. It was popped up like 2 episodes ago, out of nowhere, just to save the main characters. So that was very convenient. Another convenience of this entire episode is somehow Kuroha doesn't die from hitting her eject button. So, I mean, she has a 0.1% chance of surviving, and supposedly in anime terms, that means 100% chance. I'm still in this comment from someone from the last review who said that, and I find it pretty fucking funny. I'm gonna be honest there. But still, I mean, okay, Kuroha, she survived hitting the button, which was obvious. They wouldn't reveal something like that last episode if she wasn't going to survive and use it, so I guess I can look past that convenience. But the biggest convenience about this entire thing, okay, after she presses that button, she gets all her memories back, and she remembers Rota, she remembers everything, and when she goes to fight freaking Valkyrie up in the sky with antimatter, she uses a micro black hole. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? She uses it, okay? You see this massive explosion, the music is freaking awesome, the animation looks top, and then all of a sudden she hits back down the ground. It's like, who are you? That's very convenient. Very, very convenient. Very convenient, I'll tell you that. Oh yes, and the ground gives away right at the edge where she lands. Very convenient. And then you get to see Murakami grab her hand like he lost her hand earlier on in the series. Remember, like, first episode, we find out that he couldn't grab her hand? Well, he managed to grab her hand in this episode and make up for that time he could never grabbed her when she was a child at falling down the freaking dam. And so, very convenient. I see what they did there. I know what they were trying to do and symbolize, but very convenient. Overall, I guess it seems like I'm judging this series. I'm talking about every little issue with this episode in this series. At the same time, I still can recommend this. I can. The only problem, like I said, is the ending. And if you're one of those type of people that get pissed off when someone says you need to read the manga, I guess you're not going to like this anime series, because the anime series is just going to leave a bad aftertaste to some people. It kind of does to me, but it's not enough to where I really degrade this overall series. It's not like Akuma no Riddle level to where I am just downright fucking pissed and it came out of nowhere, because all the different keys are in place with the different things that happened. You can easily figure out what happened with each individual thing, besides guesswork like Akuma no Riddle did. So, I'm happy. I'm happy overall. I've enjoyed this series from start to finish almost. So everybody, tell me your final thoughts of Brynhildr. Have you enjoyed it? Have you hated it? What was your favorite moments about this series? And all of you manga readers out there at this very moment, how rushed was this series from start to finish? Be honest with your comments, since this is the final episode and most likely there's not going to be a season 2. You could have spoiler conversations. Let me know exactly everything that happened. That was cut out. I mean, completely just butchered and destroyed. Or if there's some way you can explain this ending a lot better for other people, please do that in the comments. I love all of you so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.